Hey guys, it's me, Mark Poole. I'm gonna be doing something a little bit similar to the Flash video that I had did. Basically, it's my take on the current state of DCEU and what I think they should have done. Pretty much since the start of this whole thing. Keep in mind, I'm an outsider looking in. I have a lot of respect to the directors and writers that make these amazing things that we can watch and talk about. That being said, I am kind of disappointed with the current state of DC. I mean, I know that they have, the new movies, Shazam and Aquaman, and they look good, but with the news of Henry Cavill and Batman leaving, and now they're talking about just focusing on a Supergirl movie and that Michael B. Jordan is going to be the next Superman. Honestly, all this is just really, really funny. I mean, there's a part of me that was a bit frustrated, but it's just really funny because all I can imagine is a bunch of people running around with their heads cut off at Warner Brothers because they don't know what the heck they want to do. I mean, look, I want to see a black Superman as much as anybody, and I especially want to see him hook up with Power Girl, but there's a time and a place for this. They haven't really established the Superman that we have, and now they want to move on to an Earth 2 storyline. And I might be in the minority here. I mean, no, I'm definitely in the minority, but I don't really like Supergirl. In fact, I don't really like any copycat characters. I barely like Superboy. I mean, he gets a pass because he's pretty much a clone. I mean, but I don't really like Supergirl. Now, I could see if she was Superman's daughter, clone, or alternate version of him from another universe, but she's not. And I don't really see other characters go through this like Wonder Woman or Batman. Look, Superman is my favorite superhero, okay? And it's kind of hard seeing him get dragged through the mud these last couple of years. He barely has any lines in his own film. He gets beat up half the time. And in his second outing, he gets beat up by Batman, little development, and he dies. He gets beat up by Supergirl in her TV show. And it's kind of funny how Superman had his own TV show. Granted, it wasn't called Superman, it was called Smallville. But, he never wore the suit. He never flew. And in every altercation he had with Supergirl, I would always see him go flying across the room. It's just kind of funny. After Batman v Superman, Superman's death, that horrible, horrible fight scene, I thought that something would happen, an uproar, just to show that I wasn't the only Superman fan. A city to burn or something. Which city, doesn't matter. The point is, what I realized is no one really gave a crap, okay? No one cared. All anybody could talk about was that Batman fight scene in the warehouse, and I'm just sitting there like, you do realize Superman died, right? And it's sad because Superman's death should have been impactful, not Logan impactful, but it definitely should have been up there. Look, I'm not trying to make a how would you fix Superman video here, because honestly, it's already been done. It's a good video. You should go check that out. What I'm talking about is what they should have done with Superman, because they made this more complicated than it should have been. They didn't even give Henry Cavill enough time to be Superman. And in my opinion, they didn't even give him decent dialogue and little to no development in his character. It's like after Man of Steel, the guy scared and just decided to throw him away. And in Justice League, he was so forced, you could have just called him Captain Damage Control at that point. Look, I don't care about the DCEU. Honestly, it's laughable at this point. It's like a new train that didn't appeal to everybody. And, Batman v Superman just lit it on fire. Wonder Woman tried to help a bit, but Suicide Squad that was supposed to help at that time just poured gasoline on the damn thing, and Justice League just full on derailed it. Now, I'll be lying if I said this wasn't a bit frustrating, mostly because they own all their characters and all their material. I'm not saying it should be perfect, but I just feel like they should have got their shit together before they got started with this. I just get this bad feeling that Supergirl's movie is going to be good, like universally liked. Like Superman's movie was like a test dummy, and now they're going to get it right. And honestly, that's just going to piss me off. But hey, what are you going to do? Now let's talk about what I would have done if I was in charge of DCEU. But before I get started, I just want to say that I'm not going to go full in depth with the stuff that I'm going to be talking about. Probably would do something, later on in a separate video. But, until then, let's get back to it. The first movie that the DCEU did was Superman, and that was a great idea. Okay, it was perfect, but let's just say it wasn't really well received by everybody. Okay, so after that movie, Warner Brothers should have started brainstorming, have a bunch of comic book character names and titles on a board, and called a big meeting and start talking about what they want to do next. This is where I would have came in. Superman didn't appeal to everybody, okay? But let's not abandon the big blue Boy Scout, okay? We already have him out there. So if we want to differentiate ourselves from Marvel, let's do a Wonder Woman film, and then a Batman film. After that, we'll have them in the same movie called Dawn of Justice, but it's not a team up type of situation. They have their individual problems. Superman has his, Wonder Woman has hers, and Batman has his. I would put the Batman Superman fight in this film, but that would not be the main focus of the film. It would not be in any of the advertisement. It wouldn't be in the trailers. I would not give any hint that Batman and Superman will be fighting in this film, because word of mouth is powerful. You don't want to hear someone say, "Oh, I'll just wait for it to end up on Netflix or TV or DVD or whatever." No, you want people in those seats. Something that big in the movie that wasn't advertised, word's going to travel fast. So that's pretty much roughly what I would have done, for starters. I just feel like this movie had, so much going for it, so much potential, and I just don't see how you would mess up the beginning of this universe, like the Trinity. I just don't see how you would mess up the DC Trinity and the cameos and the Superman Batman fight. That wasn't a fight, okay? These were fights. This was a fight. I don't know what this was. Superman and Batman's fight should have been epic, okay? They should have been talking about it to this day. And his fight with Doomsday should have been even more epic. Should have had people's jaws on the floor, begging for more bars. I mean, and it definitely should not have been in his second outing. It should have been in his third film. All right. It's just frustrating because the pieces are there. I mean, it's not perfect, nowhere near, but you can still build on it. I mean, you could have used what happened in Metropolis to start up a lot of things. Like, why did the particle accelerator explode, giving Flash his powers? Zod invaded. Cyborg, why do you look like that? I was in Metropolis when Zod invaded. Demons running amok? Why? It's not broke. Why fix it? Zod invaded. You can use that single thing to connect all the films in phase one if you want to. A Dark Justice League, New Gods, and if I had my way, a Huntress and the Question film. I don't know what it is about those two, Mr. Miracle and Big Barda, but I really want to make a film with them. And I know it didn't appeal to everyone, but I will also put a Suicide Squad film on the list. They weren't wrong for doing this film. It just, they did it too early and they made it too big. The team bit a little bit more than they could chew. What they should have done was start small. They kept on saying, "Oh, what if Superman did this? Who would stop him?" These guys? Really? Besides Enchantress and Diablo, they're all human. No, start small. How it should have went is basically the team's been active for a year, okay? Then they're given a list by some shady guy in the government, and on that list are retired agents, but not just any retired agents. They were members of the 1950 JSA. I know, right? Mind blown. If you enjoyed the movie Red, then you're going to like this concept. You got young assassins versus old heroes. Smells like money to me. See, this is what pisses me off about the DCU. They have everything at their disposal, but yeah, it's like a kid who's playing the game and he buys all the items and gets new gear, but he's trash. You need two things if you want to start a franchise. One is story. Two is an anchor, someone that starts the franchise and gets the audience attached to this world that you're creating. Someone that they can root for throughout all these films. Marvel did it with Iron Man. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, or Flash. It doesn't matter. Just use a little bit of imagination and one small thing. Are you listening? Get ready for it. Life. That's it. Life is a spectrum. You never know what's going to happen. Okay? Don't worry about what Marvel's doing because they're wrapping up. They're about to move on to something else. See, the problem with the DCU is they were trying to make everything dark and gritty, and life isn't like that, nor is it always happy and joyful, and they were probably trying to do something like that by killing off Superman. That's unpredictable. Life's unpredictable. I get it. But all I saw was them shoot themselves in the foot because they don't have a story. They didn't have a story. Now they don't have an anchor. And what did I say the anchors are supposed to do? Right. And aside from Wonder Woman, everything just went sideways after that. Now, Henry Cavill's out. Batman's out. And I hear Lois Lane is dropping out of the race as well. Aquaman looks pretty good though. Go check that out. Anyway, that about does it for right now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you want to leave a like. Subscribe if you want to subscribe. That's completely up to you. Peace.